Ma'am, stop right there. Don't move.
I'm sorry. Is there a problem?
I've been watching you. I need you to come with me to the back.
I have a receipt. I just
I
paid
don't
for
care about any
everything.
receipt. You don't belong in here.
Sir, please step back. You have no legal basis to detain me.
Monica Reeves had just completed an $8,400 purchase inside the Gucci flagship store on Rodeo Drive when Travis Bennett, a private security guard with Unit B-247, grabbed her from behind, threw her to the marble floor, and pinned her in front of 14 witnesses and 4 rolling cameras. What Bennett didn't know was that Monica Reeves had spent 18 years prosecuting violent crime in the Los Angeles County court system. And what started as a luxury shopping trip on a Saturday afternoon would end with a $12 million settlement, the largest retail discrimination payout in California history. Before we go further, what city or country are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. We genuinely love seeing where this community reaches. If you believe that walking into a store with a receipt in your hand should never end in a takedown, like this video and subscribe. This channel exists for exactly that reason. If this is your first time visiting this channel, please hit that subscribe button. Monica Reeves was 47 years old when this happened, 18 years as a prosecutor, former senior deputy DA, recipient of the California Prosecutors Association Award of Excellence, married, 2 children, a woman who had spent nearly 2 decades standing in courtrooms and demanding that the law mean something. On Saturday, August 14th, 2025, at 3:42 p.m., she walked into a store to buy a handbag. Travis Bennett was her security guard, 12 years of combined law enforcement and private security experience, and 6 prior excessive force complaints. Every single one internally dismissed. His store cameras were recording, so were 4 customer phones. In a 2023 audit of luxury retail security incidents across California, black shoppers were flagged, followed, or physically confronted at a rate 4 times higher than white shoppers in stores where they were paying customers. What you're about to watch is what happens when that statistic has a name, a badge, and 18 years of the law behind her. Monica Reeves had spent the morning in her home office preparing witness testimony for a felony assault case set to go to trial the following Monday. At 3:28 p.m., she pulled into the valet circle of the Gucci flagship store on Rodeo Drive, Beverly Hills, a location she'd visited 4 times in the past 2 years without incident. She stepped out wearing a cream silk blouse, hang-tailored black slacks, and low heels. Her leather tote bag, Bottega Veneta, a gift from her husband on their 15th anniversary, rested on her shoulder. She looked like exactly what she was, a professional with disposable income, taking a Saturday afternoon to browse luxury retail. Monica was thinking about the Birkin-style handbag she'd seen online the week before. Her daughter's college graduation was in 2 months. She wanted something meaningful, something her daughter could keep for decades. She had no reason to expect confrontation. She'd done this 1,000 times before. The store's interior was pristine. White marble floors, recessed lighting casting soft shadows on displays of handbags arranged like gallery sculptures. Security cameras were mounted discreetly in each corner. A dozen shoppers moved quietly between displays, some accompanied by sales associates holding champagne flutes on silver trays. She didn't notice Travis Bennett watching her from the moment she entered. She didn't see him tap his earpiece and mouth something to the floor manager near the register. She didn't catch the subtle nod exchanged between them as she approached the display wall. In 2023, black shoppers in luxury retail environments were 4.7 times more likely to be surveilled by loss prevention compared to white customers spending identical amounts. Not for theft, not for suspicious behavior, for being present in a space where someone decided, consciously or not, that they didn't belong. Travis Bennett emerged from the back security office at 3:42 p.m. He positioned himself 3 feet behind Monica, cutting off her direct path to the entrance. His right hand rested on his utility belt near the pepper spray canister. Another security guard, younger, Latino, visibly uncomfortable, moved to flank her left side near the display of evening clutches. Monica recognized the formation immediately. She'd seen this approach before in courtrooms on surveillance footage, in depositions describing the seconds before everything goes wrong. Her stomach tightened. She knew immediately this wasn't routine browsing assistance. "Excuse me, ma'am, store security, I need to see some identification." Monica turned slowly, keeping her hands visible. "Of course, I'm Monica Reeves, Los Angeles County District Attorney. I'm here shopping for a handbag." My identification is in my bag. Would you like me to retrieve it? Bennett's expression didn't shift. His eyes moved from her face to her purse to her hands. That doesn't explain why you've been handling multiple items without making a purchase. I need to verify your identity and check that bag. Monica's pulse quickened. She hadn't touched anything yet. She'd been in the store less than 3 minutes dot. This is the moment where credibility gets tested, not by facts, but by appearance. She offered proof. She identified herself calmly. She complied. Watch how offering evidence becomes suspicious when you're already guilty in someone's eyes. Monica maintained composure. She kept her hands visible at waist level and spoke clearly, deliberately. I'm happy to show you identification, but I need to understand the legal basis for this stop. What specific articulable facts give you reasonable suspicion that I've committed a crime? Bennett's jaw tightened. His tone shifted from procedural to hostile. Don't start that legal talk with me. You trying to sound smart? Doesn't matter what you think your rights are. I have authority to detain anyone acting suspiciously on these premises. He reached for the radio clipped to his shoulder. Floor manager to front security. I have a situation in the handbag section. Possible theft in progress? Need another unit and manager present. Monica felt anger rising in her chest. Hot, sharp, clarifying. But she maintained external composure. She had prosecuted dozens of cases that started exactly like this. She knew where this was heading. The fact that she'd offered her credentials explained her presence. And asked a legally sound question wasn't being acknowledged. That told her everything. A white woman in her 60s holding a Gucci shopping bag pulled out her phone and began recording. Excuse me, what is happening here? She didn't do anything. Another customer, a man in a polo shirt, stepped closer, camera raised. I've been standing right here. She literally just walked in. 67% of successful civil rights lawsuits involve video evidence. Without witnesses recording, this becomes he said, she said. With cameras, it becomes accountability. 2 additional security guards arrived within 90 seconds. Monica was now surrounded. Bennett directly in front of her, 2 guards blocking the exit, the floor manager approaching from the register. Shoppers had stopped browsing. The store had gone silent except for the hum of recessed lighting. Bennett turned to the floor manager, his voice loud enough for everyone to hear. Subject is being uncooperative. Claims to be a district attorney, but refusing to provide proof. She's been acting suspiciously since she entered. Handling merchandise, looking around nervously. Matches the profile we got from corporate about organized retail theft rings. Monica's breath caught. She hadn't touched a single item. She tried again. My identification is in my bag. I will show it to you. I work at 211 West Temple Street, Criminal Courts Building. You can call my office right now and verify. Bennett didn't blink. We'll verify that at the station. What station? You're private security. You don't have arrest authority. We have citizens arrest authority for suspected theft. Now open the bag or I'm calling BHPD. Monica asked for a supervisor. Bennett told her the floor manager was present and in agreement. She asked to call her office. Bennett said she could call from booking. She cited California Penal Code 490.5 regarding detention procedures for suspected shoplifting. Bennett stepped closer. Stop stalling. Monica had a choice. She could refuse to comply until they articulated a single specific fact. She could demand they call the Beverly Hills Police Department and risk this escalating further. She could walk toward the exit and dare them to physically stop her, but she also knew the statistics. She had seen the videos. She had prosecuted cases where perfect compliance still ended in injury, arrest, or worse. So she did what her instincts and 18 years of watching body camera footage told her. She complied. Monica slowly reached into her bag, retrieved her wallet, and held up her California driver's license and her district attorney credentials in a clear plastic badge holder. I am Monica Elise Reeves. I am the district attorney for Los Angeles County. I am complying under protest. This detention is unlawful. Bennett grabbed her wrist. Don't reach into the bag again. Turn around. I'm showing you my... He yanked her arm behind her back. Pain shot through her shoulder. Her credentials fell to the marble floor. The second guard grabbed her other arm. She gasped, more from shock than pain, and her knees buckled. They forced her forward, bending her over the display counter, her cheek pressed against the cold glass. A Dionysus handbag? $3,200, sat inches from her face. Perfect compliance, perfect articulation of rights, perfect legal knowledge, and still held down on a counter in front of a dozen witnesses. Ask yourself, if credentials, calm tone, and cooperation aren't enough, what is? Monica was walked through the center of the store toward the back security office. Every shopper watched. Some recorded, others looked away, embarrassed to witness it. Her shoulder throbbed where Bennett had wrenched it backward. Her blouse had pulled loose from her slacks. During the walk, she stated her name and title 3 times, clearly, calmly, for every camera in the store. I am Monica Reeves, Los Angeles County District Attorney. This is an unlawful detention. No one responded. The security office was 12 feet by 8 feet, gray walls. A desk with 4 monitors cycling through camera feeds, a metal filing cabinet, and 2 chairs. Bennett motioned for her to sit. The floor manager stood in the doorway, arms crossed, blocking the exit. They inventoried her personal effects on the desk like evidence at a crime scene. Her wedding ring, platinum, engraved with her anniversary date. Her watch, Cartier, a gift from her legal team after a high-profile conviction. Her wallet containing $340 in cash, 3 credit cards, her California Bar Association card, her district attorney badge, and her phone. Monica leaned forward. Have you called my office? Have you verified my employment? The number is public record, 213-974-3512. Ask for Deputy Chief Roger Hastings. Bennett didn't look up from the inventory sheet. We'll get to it. I need to speak to a supervisor. I'm entitled to contact my office. The floor manager finally spoke, her tone clipped and detached. You'll have your chance, just stay calm and this will go faster. I am calm, I'm also illegally detained. You have my credentials in front of you. We're verifying. They didn't verify, they didn't call. At 4:17 p.m., Bennett left the room with her phone and credentials. The floor manager remained in the doorway. Monica sat in the metal chair, her hands resting on her knees, and watched the minutes tick by on the wall clock. She was supposed to be home by 5. Her husband was grilling salmon. Her daughter was coming over for dinner with her fiancé. They were going to discuss graduation plans, talk about law school applications, celebrate a normal Saturday evening. Instead, Monica sat in a windowless security office in a store where she'd spent $8,400 over 2 years, treated like a criminal, watching her credentials sit on a desk 2 feet away while no one made a single phone call. She realized with a cold clarity that settled in her chest like stone that 18 years of prosecuting felonies, convicting violent offenders, and upholding the law meant nothing in this room. In this moment, she wasn't the district attorney. She was a black woman in a luxury store, and someone had decided that was reason enough. 35 minutes, not hours, not days, just 35 minutes when no one tells you what's happening, when your credentials sit inches away and no one verifies them, when you've done nothing wrong but everyone treats you like you have. 35 minutes is long enough to understand exactly how fragile authority really is. 42 minutes after her detention began, the regional security director for Gucci North America, a white man in his 50s wearing a tailored suit, entered the office with Bennett trailing behind him. He was holding a printout. His face was flushed. Monica recognized the expression immediately. Controlled panic. Miss Reeves, we've verified your identity and employment. You're free to go. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. Monica stood slowly. She didn't move toward the door. She looked directly at the director. Verified my identity? I told Mr. Bennett my identity 42 minutes ago. I showed him my credentials. I gave him the direct number to my office. What took you 42 minutes to make a phone call? The director glanced at Bennett, then back at Monica. There was a miscommunication. Mr. Bennett was following protocol for suspected... Suspected what? Name one item I touched. Name one behavior that justified detaining me. Silence. I want the full name and employee identification number of everyone involved. I want copies of all security footage from the moment I entered this store. I want a written incident report documenting the stated basis for my detention. And I want the contact information for your corporate legal department. The director extended a business card with both hands, like a peace offering. Of course, you can submit a formal complaint through our customer relations department. We take these matters very seriously, and Monica's voice cut through his rehearsed de-escalation script. I don't need your customer relations department. I know the process. I've been prosecuting civil rights violations for 18 years. Now I get to see what it's like when the system is used against me. She picked up her credentials, her phone, her wallet, and slid her wedding ring back onto her finger. You'll be hearing from my attorney, and you'll be hearing from the press, because what happened here today, on camera, in front of witnesses, is exactly why people don't trust authority. You saw a black woman in your store and assumed she didn't belong. That assumption just cost your company everything. She walked past both men, through the store and out onto Rodeo Drive. The sun was still shining. Tourists were still shopping. The valet still had her keys. Nothing had changed. Everything had changed. In 42 minutes, Monica Reeves lost something a settlement can't buy back. The belief that her credentials made her different. The belief that 18 years of service insulated her from suspicion. The belief that compliance equals safety. She walked into that store as the district attorney. She walked out as a black woman who happened to hold that title and now understood the difference. Monica retrieved her vehicle from the valet at 4:35 p.m. Her hands shook as she gripped the steering wheel. She didn't drive home. She drove directly to her office in downtown Los Angeles, 23 miles, 40 minutes in Saturday traffic, to document everything while the details were sharp and raw. She sat at her desk and typed a 14-page incident report. I timestamped and saved to 3 separate drives. Then she called her boss. Roger Hastings, Chief Deputy District Attorney, listened to the account in complete silence. When she finished, he exhaled slowly. Monica, I don't even know what to say. This is Jesus. This is racial profiling, unlawful detention, assault, in a goddamn Gucci store with cameras everywhere. I'm filing a federal lawsuit, civil rights violation under 42 U.S.C. Section 1983. False imprisonment, intentional infliction of emotional distress. I want every frame of footage, every witness statement, every prior complaint against Bennett. You have my full support, whatever you need, resources, time, anything. Monica called her attorney that evening, Jasmine Okafor, 15 years specializing in civil rights litigation, former ACLU senior counsel, known for taking on luxury brands and winning, met Monica at her home in Pasadena at 8 p.m. Jasmine reviewed the incident report, watched the cell phone footage sent by witnesses, and leaned back in her chair. This is a textbook violation. We have video evidence, we have multiple witnesses, we have your credentials documented. We have his history, 6 excessive force complaints during his time in law enforcement. This is exactly what civil rights law was designed to address. How long? Federal cases move slowly, 2 years, maybe 3. Gucci will offer to settle within 6 months. They'll want this buried. Monica's voice was steady, cold. I'm not settling. I don't care about the money. I care about accountability. I want this on the record. I want Bennett's history exposed. I want policy changes. I want every black woman who walks into that store after me to be treated with the dignity I was denied. Jasmine met her eyes. They will drag your name through the mud. They'll audit every case you've prosecuted. They'll look for complaints, accusations, anything they can twist. They'll try to make you the bad guy, the angry black woman looking for a payday. They'll say you were hostile, that you escalated, that Bennett was just doing his job. Monica didn't blink. Let them try. I have the truth. I have the footage. I have witnesses, and I have nothing to hide. Jasmine smiled, a sharp, knowing smile. Then let's make them pay for every second of those 42 minutes. This is where Monica Reeves stops being the district attorney who happens to be black and becomes a black woman who happened to be the district attorney. The system she served, the one she spent 18 years upholding, is about to treat her like the enemy. And she's about to force it to look in the mirror. Gucci's corporate legal team offered $150,000 within 6 weeks. Monica rejected it. 3 months later, they offered $500,000 and a private apology. Monica rejected it. At the 1-year mark, they offered $1.8 million, mandatory anti-bias training for all staff, and a confidential settlement agreement with a non-disclosure clause. Monica rejected it. Her response, delivered through Jasmine in a conference call with 8 corporate attorneys, was one sentence. I don't want your money buried under an NDA. I want a public trial, a public verdict, and a public record that what happened to me was wrong. Because the next black woman who walks into your store deserves better than a settlement you'll never admit to. 18 months after the incident, the case went to trial. United States District Court, Central District of California. Judge Harold Eng presiding. Day 3 of testimony. The courtroom was packed. Journalists, civil rights advocates, law students, and members of the Los Angeles legal community who had worked with Monica for nearly 2 decades. Jasmine Okafor played the security footage on a 60-inch monitor facing the jury. The jury watched Monica enter the store, calm and composed. They watched her walk toward the handbag display. They watched Travis Bennett approach from behind, positioning himself to block her exit. They watched her offer her credentials. They watched him grab her wrist. They watched her face press against the glass counter. A woman in the front row of the jury box wiped her eyes. A man in the back shook his head slowly. The foreperson took extensive notes, underlining something 3 times. Day 4. Jasmine called Travis Bennett to the stand. Mr. Bennett, when you first observed Miss Reeves entering the store, what specific behavior indicated to you that she was engaged in criminal activity? Bennett shifted in his seat. She was looking around. She seemed nervous. She matched the profile we'd been given by corporate for organized retail theft. What profile? Young to middle-aged individuals, often working in groups, targeting high-value items. Miss Reeves was alone. She's 47 years old. She was carrying a designer bag and wearing business attire. What specifically made her match that profile? Silence. Mr. Bennett? She just seemed out of place. Out of place. Can you elaborate? Bennett glanced at his attorney, then back at Jasmine. I used my discretion. That's part of my job. Jasmine stepped closer. In your 8 years as a police officer and 4 years in private security, how many white women have you detained for seeming out of place? In a luxury store? I don't keep track. 0, Mr. Bennett? I don't recall. You don't recall detaining a single white woman for walking into Gucci and looking around. But you detained Miss Reeves, a black woman, within 3 minutes. You had no specific facts, no observed theft, no articulable suspicion, just discretion. Bennett said nothing. Thank you. No further questions. The jury is about to award millions. But here's what they can award. Travis Bennett kept his security license. He's working at another luxury retailer 2 miles away. He still uses discretion. The settlement will come from Gucci's insurance, not Bennett's paycheck. Ask yourself, is that accountability? The jury deliberated for 3 hours and 17 minutes. Verdict, liable on all counts. Damages, compensatory, $4 million for emotional distress, violation of civil rights, loss of dignity, and unlawful detention. Punitive, $8 million to deter future misconduct and send a message about the consequences of racial profiling in retail environments. Total, $12 million, the largest retail discrimination settlement in California history. Monica didn't smile. She didn't celebrate. She sat quietly in her chair, hands folded on the table, and felt nothing close to victory. The money didn't erase the humiliation. It didn't give back the 42 minutes she spent in that office, powerless despite 18 years of authority. It didn't undo the moment her face was pressed against cold glass while strangers recorded her degradation. It didn't restore her faith in the system she'd dedicated her life to upholding. Travis Bennett was terminated by his security firm the day the verdict was announced. He faced no criminal charges. He kept his security license. Within 4 months, he was employed by a different luxury retail chain in Orange County. Gucci implemented mandatory anti-bias training for all North American retail and security staff, revised use of force protocols for private security personnel, and established an independent oversight committee to review complaints of discrimination. 14 months after the verdict, Monica Reeves resigned as district attorney. In her resignation letter, she wrote, I can no longer enforce laws that don't protect me. I can no longer ask victims to trust a system that treated me, a prosecutor with impeccable credentials, as a criminal the moment I walked into a store. I spent 18 years believing that excellence, compliance, and authority would insulate me from the prejudice I prosecuted others for. I was wrong, and I can't serve a system that sees my blackness before it sees my badge. If you believe that dignity should matter more than credentials, share this story. If you think accountability should fall on those who violate rights, not insurance companies and taxpayers, comment below. And if you've ever been profiled, detained, or made to feel you don't belong in a space where you had every right to be? Drop your story in the comments. We see you, and your experience matters. Monica used the $12 million settlement to establish the Reeves Civil Rights Legal Fund, a nonprofit providing free legal representation to victims of racial profiling and unlawful detention in commercial spaces. 3 years after that Saturday afternoon on Rodeo Drive, Monica continues to fight. She speaks at law schools across the country, trains community organizations on rights documentation, and lobbies for state legislation requiring independent oversight of private security firms. The Reeves Fund has trained over 8,000 people in their rights during retail encounters, funded legal defense for 47 civil rights cases successfully lobbied for California, AB 1322, requiring body cameras and bias training for all armed private security personnel. In a recent interview, Monica said, $12 million didn't heal what happened. It didn't erase the humiliation of being held down on that counter. It didn't give back my faith in the system I served. But it gave me the resources to fight for others. And I'll keep fighting until people are treated with dignity, regardless of what they look like. Until no Black woman has to prove she belongs in a space she has every right to occupy. If you believe dignity matters more than assumptions, share this story. If you've experienced profiling in a store, airport, or any space where you had every right to be, tell us in the comments. And if you think justice requires accountability, not just settlements, subscribe for more stories where the cost of doing the right thing is exactly what it should be: everything.